Hey guys, this video is to just further explain the Book in the Box project. So the reason that I picked this project is that way you can focus on one book for the entire week. And this will take you quite a bit of time, okay? And there are different requirements depending on whose class you're in. If you are in Miss Lamb's class, your description is going to be up to a 3-sentence little paragraph. If you are in my class, I'm looking for a 4 to 5 sentence paragraph of your description, okay? So it doesn't have to be a full 5 to 7 sentence formal paragraph. We can kind of be a little lenient on that one depending on our skill level and what the item is. Okay, so I'm just going to read it from my laptop, and it says the Book in the Box project. The project. Decorate a box to represent the book and fill it with objects that represent different parts of the book. So you are going to pick a book, and for my example, I am choosing There Was an Old Lady Who Swallowed Some Books. I had books at my house, so I picked this one. So I would get a box, and it does not matter what kind of box it is. It could be a small box, a big box, medium box, a recycled box, an ugly box, because you are going to take that box and you are going to decorate it. So because my book is The Old Lady Who Swallowed Some Books, I would cover this all up with construction paper, wrapping paper, and I would decorate it to make it match my book, okay? And it can match in the way of color. I can write on it, I can draw on it, however you want to decorate it. This is your artistic freedom, okay? So I have a box, check. And then it says the details. You can use a shoebox, oatmeal canister, coffee can, or other similarly sized container for this project. Decorate your box to go with the book. You can draw pictures yourself or use pictures from magazines or the internet. Be sure to include the title and the author of the books on the box as well as your name. So somewhere on this box you have to write the name of your book and the author and the illustrator if your book has one, okay? Some of you are going to be picking chapter books, especially if you are in my class, and that is a-okay. If you're picking a picture book, this assignment will be a little bit harder just because there's not as much material for you to go off of, but you can still do it. I did it off of this one, and I'll show you some of my examples of the things I would put in my box if I were doing this project. So it says find at least 8 objects. You can use pictures if the object you want is too big to fit inside your box. So what I suggest is making a lot of pictures instead of putting the objects in, because remember, you're going to be turning this into me. So if it's something that you don't want to go without for about 2 weeks, draw a picture of it or take a picture of it, okay? Or you can put the item in there if you want, okay? For each object, make a note card that includes the name of the object at the top and a paragraph about how the object is an important part of the book. So remember, if you're in Miss Lamb's class, I only want at the most 3 sentences, okay? I know a paragraph might be a little difficult for us, okay? So if you're watching this video, it's 3 sentences. For my big kids, I'm looking for about 4 to 5 sentences, more of a little bit of a formal paragraph, okay? If it can't be done with that item, talk to me about it. Talk to your parent. How can you describe the item? How does it remind you about the book? Also, tell me where you found that in the book, okay? And then it says tips for success. As you read the book, keep a list of ideas for objects that you might want to use for this project. If you use pictures, glue them onto cardboard backings to make them more durable and appealing. Try to find at least one object for each chapter of the book, okay? And there's also been a page provided where you guys can kind of like write your notes on it. So let's say that you're reading and you think, I can use that golden pineapple I have in my room to symbolize what I am reading. Go ahead and write it down. Your notes will also count as part of your grade, so make sure that you fill out those notes, okay? And when we think about this kind of assignment, we're really thinking about symbolism, things that can stand for something, okay? In some of your books, maybe they don't talk about certain items, and you're like, what? I don't have any items. They never talked about items. It was a story about a horse, or it was a story about a unicorn. And that is perfectly fine. Think of items that can stand for something else, okay? Let's say that your story was about friendship. So maybe you go and find a friendship bracelet that represents friendship to you, okay? Or maybe your character was mean and nasty. So you find something that you find mean and nasty to represent what you read in the book. So remember, it doesn't have to be the exact items that you read in the book. It could be something that represents and reminds you of that item. And we're going to kind of work on symbolism here. Is this a symbol of, okay? So in my box, like I said, there was an old lady who swallowed some books. I picked an easy book for a reason so I could just do a quick example and look really smart in front of you guys, okay? So in my book, there are direct objects that I can literally pull from, okay? So I didn't decorate my box because I don't have to. But in my box, I have my note cards. So you would take note cards, or you can make these note cards. It's perfectly fine, whichever one you do. And this is where I'll write the name of my object. And then over here, I'll write my description as to why it's in my box. Okay, so those are my note cards. And each item must come with a note card. Ooh. So my first item is glue. In one of the pages, and if I was writing this, I would write glue. And then on the description side, I would write, I put glue in my box because it represents blah, 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 blah. And I would let the audience, which is the person reading it, me, know why I picked it and where I found that in the book. So let's say that my book had chapters. I would say I found this information in chapter 5. Page 44. And that's also another sentence you can use as your description. In this particular case, I might say I found it on page 6. Okay, and I would give a description as to why I picked that. Okay, another item I put in here. Ooh, this isn't a pencil, but in the book she swallowed some pencils. So I would write that she swallowed pencils. Okay, and then I put a literal book in here because she swallowed some books. Okay, so you guys can kind of see how I took direct objects that were literally listed in the book. Another thing that I might do is I would put in a spatula. And you're probably thinking, why would my teacher put in a spatula? Nowhere in this story did the author mention a spatula. When I think of someone who was older, and look, the title is There Was an Old Lady Who Swallowed Some Books, I always think of my abuelita, which is my grandmother. Abuelita is Spanish for grandmother. And she's always cooking. So when I think of older people, I think of people who are cooking with a wooden spatula or a wooden spoon. So I would put that in my box. And even though it's more of a symbol, I have proof that this reminds me of my book. I'm able to back it up. I'm able to give my because reason. We know in my classroom the most important word is because. I literally have it on a big pink poster on the door. Because. I give my explanation, and then I have my because. I give my answer and I have my explanation, okay? So I would maybe put that to remind me of an old lady, or I would put in some old glasses because she was an old lady, okay? So you can pull from anything. It can be symbolism or it can be direct, that you have literal proof in the story, okay? So you guys may do this project however you want, okay? And you guys have 2 weeks to do it, and I cannot wait to see your boxes, okay? And remember, my recommendation is instead of putting real objects in there, maybe you take a picture or you draw it yourself. And that's up to you. If you don't mind me having the box for 2 weeks, then that's perfectly fine. That's your choice too. So I hope this video kind of helped to explain to you guys what it is. And remember, if you need any help, please contact me. All right, bye guys.